everybody. My name is MetalMusicMan.
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 70 of the Metal and Lex podcast.
I was trying to think of the next 60 number that came after 69.
I think it's 69 and a
60 11
and a quarter.
60-10, pardon me. 60-10.
Episode 60-10.
60-10
of the Metal and Lex podcast. We almost slipped into bi-weekly again. It's Tuesday.
We were bi-weekly curious, and
and we've decided, at least so far, we haven't dipped our toe in yet. So
I want to keep on the weekly schedule, but it's irritating because, well, irritating isn't the right word. Complicated. Because we keep doing things or I'd played D&D every day for the last 4 days straight.
Yeah, that's too much D&D. I'm sorry I keep looking over to the right. Harper is shitting her pants in the corner of my apartment, like as if there is something
in the box.
There's something in the wall. Like
I see. She's not literally pooping.
She's just attacking the walls right now. I don't understand.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, you had D&D for like 2 days or fucking 4 days. I ran it you said
for 2 of those. Two of the days. That's
too many D&Ds. I haven't played in my D&D group in at least like 2 months. And I gotta be honest. I'm loving the break. We D&D'd like once a month, if not.
But you do it for like 8 hours, right?
Oh yeah, like a really long time.
That shit's wild.
Like our shortest session is probably like 4 hours. Most of the time it's at least 6, if not fucking longer or some shit. And,
we did character creation, which was like super long and awkward and hard with just a little bit of role playing on top of it. And that took 3.5 hours. And afterwards I was like, I don't want to see you people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like brain. It just builds. And that's actually kind of like, I'm kind of like going like, I feel like we're kind of like in a similar thing with the podcast regularity where it's like, I feel like any activity you do on the same day forever.
Regularly, yeah.
Eventually you get like kind of annoyed. It's like even when I was going to like tournaments and shit for Smash, it's like, or Street Fighter or whatever, you're like, every Thursday I'm going to go do this thing. And like you do want to do it, but there's a lot of Thursdays where you're like,
fuck this.
I've been doing
this is my Thursday.
Yeah, like I've been doing it every time. Out of my life. I need like a break. And like that was how I was starting to feel about D&D. And then what I think is interesting about, since what we're looking at now on the podcast itself is like we started, we were always doing them Fridays. Then we were like, now we're going to do them Saturdays. And then it was like, oh, it's the Sunday podcast.
Sundays, yep.
And like now the last couple of weeks we're like, Monday, Tuesday, don't do it at all.
Or just don't,
like, so I don't know. Fuck, man. I think we got, what did we get through without breaking the streak? It was like 65 like or 60, some shit episodes, like 60 or 65 episodes.
And then you were out of the state.
Missed.
And there was nothing that anyone could do about it.
So that was when it started. I feel like this is directly your fault, but indirectly my fault, because
I'm not the one who went out of the state.
Right. But see what I was like, well, I'll just call Alex on Discord and we could do like a Pharaoh guest podcast since I was staying with Pharaoh.
Oh, right.
And then we'll record it and Alex can edit it and put it on YouTube. And then Alex was like, I don't have that skill set as much. Nope. And I was like, I just assumed. I should have taught you better, my son. You
want to put me? Hey, you want to take the podcast and put it into FL Studio? I'm your man. You want me to chop it, put a low pass filter on it so only I can be heard, and then chop and screw it? Yeah, I'm the guy.
Dude, we should have done an episode that was like chopped and screwed, and then you had just taken clips from all the other podcasts and made like a really long, hour-long song.
A filler episode.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
That would have been pretty funny. But so anyway, yeah, we've had that, a couple other skips, and so I don't know. I wouldn't mind, like I like keeping up the weekly schedule, but I also I don't feel bad about like skipping every now and then at this point, because I'm like, I feel like we proved for fucking damn near 2 years without missing.
We did for a whole year.
It was over a year.
52 weeks. Yeah, at least
a year.
And then we had another 10 weeks on days. Like it was like 14 months.
Yeah,
14 straight months every week. Yeah, that's fine.
So
that's fine. Sound off in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're resentful. Send
all me 5 of our listeners are gonna be so mad. You know who fucking DM'd me? First of all,
was it A2?
Of course.
Yeah, of course it was A2.
I knew this was gonna happen. Like A2, the fucking
after the sex extravaganza.
Yeah, the consummate sweetheart that he is. He like slides into my DMs and he's like, Metal, I just want you to know that I feel like your experiences are very normal and it's okay. And I was just like, A2, shut the fuck up, you fucking supportive piece of shit. I think I really said like, thank you so much, but but fuck you for being so nice. How fucking dare you? But no, like, but yeah, he was like talking to me about that and some other shit, and he's actually bugging me a minute ago about going to some tournaments, and like, I feel like this episode will explain exactly why I don't want to go to tournaments right now. It's like I just feel the same way about like, I don't know. I haven't gone to a tournament in such a long time. I went to like Bradfest or whatever. Sure. Whenever they were first starting to do those, and it was fun. And nothing against the fest itself or anybody who goes there. I just was like, I don't know if I want to go to anything. And everybody like peer pressured me into it, and I went and I had a good time and it was fun. But it's like regularly going to tournaments, I don't know. And then compound that with like where we're at going back into insane COVID moment. Dude, I realized the other day that I fucking bought hotels and registered for Genesis and Riptide in the fall and the winter. What are the odds that this shit is even going to happen?
Okay, do you want how do you want me to answer this? What person do you need me to be to answer this question? Because I
need you to step right back and literally fuck your own face. But what person do I need you to be? How long is it going to take for me to get you to just be an honest human being?
No, okay, you want the honest truth?
Piece of shit. Yeah, no, like, so I think they're going to run anyway and everything's going to be awful because people are tired. Yeah, that's what I think.
Going to super spreader events.
Yeah.
I'm going to super spreader event next week.
What are you doing next week? What are you doing next week?
That's Tampa Never Sleep Chicago. That was my secret podcast topic. I was going to tell you.
That's what we're talking about. That you're excited to. Yeah. But yeah, now we're fucked, dude.
We're not there yet.
I
it's COVID outside.
It's so COVID though, and like
COVID.
I can't even. You know what's worse about this one is like before it was so like okay, there was like the initial part where like early before like. Really anybody even knew about it. And I remember reading things and I remember vaguely tweeting like, why does everybody give a fuck about anything? I'm MetalMusicMan. Nihilism is the way to be. Nothing matters. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. Which is generally how I feel about like anything when anything happens because 99.9% of the time that's accurate and nothing. Like people are always trying to find like the next new big wave of thing that's going to like freak everyone out and be dramatic. It's like whenever the newscasters, like you can see if you're like watching Channel 5 and the tornado weather comes in and you can literally see the dude start like jacking himself off and coming in his own mouth on camera. He's just like, a fucking tornado warning for St. Louis County. Everyone's gonna die. And he's just coming like fucking buckets on like, and they do it for like 5 hours.
I'm inclined to believe that's a microphone. But
anyway, so it's like I feel like it's like that, or at least that was like that's always my interpretation of like most like crazy big events when they first people start freaking out. I'm like, whatever. So there's that, and then there was like the point where I was like, fuck, man, I guess this is like a real thing. Like, what the fuck? And
you would do the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck, and then you lock down and like do the whole thing, and then you're in lockdown forever long, and blah blah blah. And like now where we're at, it's like, I know that we should be locked down again already. And before it was easier because this had like never happened. And we were like, this is what we're going to do. But now no one cares. And I do want to care. But before it was so much easier to be like, I'm going to care and do a thing because it felt like it could have an impact. And now like, dude, I work at a school. I just found out today that we are not even offering remote learning when we reopen.
Yeah.
We're not even offering it.
Think about how far back that sets kids to
and I'm like,
remote learning. Yeah. think of the emotional damage.
Think about how awful it is that children have to get on their computer and use Skype instead of touching each other in person. Like
like licking and exchanging particles. You know
what that's like. That's like we talked about on I think it was Doxing Jesus. I forget. It was one of our episodes where I was talking about how fucking weird it is when like a super fucking Catholic religious whatever person says to you, they say some shit like, Will, Jesus died for our sins. And it like they say this thing that makes
with a straight face.
It makes no sense. It's objectively nonsense. No part of that has any logic, but you can hear how much they like believe it in their heart when they say the words, and the juxtaposition of them saying this thing that makes no fucking sense and having this like conviction and heartfeltness to it. That's how I feel when people are just like, everybody knows we've got to get the kids back in school. The most important thing is for the kids to be back in school. And you're just like, cool.
No, the most important thing is that they're alive.
Yeah, fucking what?
And that's assuming that we take a kid-centric look at the world. I don't really care about the children, but I think they should be alive.
But yeah, but dude, it's like everybody is so beyond. It's like when you look at political issues, and you don't. Okay, let's just say a thing that'll get me canceled.
Yeah, come on, man.
You don't want to ever say a thing that's like, we so and so, like whatever population isn't ready to hear this about like women or black people or whatever. You don't ever want to like say a sentence like that because you want to be like supportive of minorities and blah blah blah. But then like the reality sometimes is if you say a thing at the wrong time, and the group of dumbasses who you're trying to like make not abuse women or be racist or whatever analogy you want to use. Sometimes if you say a thing at the wrong time, you use up all of whatever logic is in their dumb brains. and they're like, no, we already like, it's like, okay, here's a phrase I'm sure you've heard where it's like they're taking too many liberties. Like,
yeah, they want too many rights all at once.
Yeah. So like,
why don't you guys slow your roll? You
that's
just
horrible.
You want to be treated equal?
It's so horrible.
Yeah.
But it's also like a real psychological phenomenon for like the group of dumbasses in America where like they only have so much fuel, and we used
a finite
up
number of rights people are allowed to have.
I mean, they look, okay, again, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm saying if you're in rural America, you're in rural Missouri.
And some of us are.
And yeah, and like you live in one of those towns, because I grew up around people like this where like you can only say so much about how like you don't want to go to church, right? You could say you don't want to go to church because you just want to go fishing, but you can't say I'm an atheist, right? That's too much. No. That's like too much. Yeah. So like I feel
fishing
like
at least is manly.
So whatever, yeah, if we're talking about religion, race, fucking sexual equality, any topic, right? I feel like COVID, we're in like the same thing. Yeah. Where all the people now are like, we already did that last year. That was enough lockdown.
You saw how far it got us.
And like, it doesn't matter that the reality should be that like, yeah, black people should have rights. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that black people should have rights.
In that area, in that town, in Podunk, USA, like, I feel like you have to play to win, man. Like every character in the game should be balanced.
If you're capitulating to that guy in Podunk, Missouri, then you've already lost. Is the reality of the rights equation, which is to say necessarily we are going to lose at COVID again this year.
Yeah, I think so. But so that's, yeah, I think in certain circles, areas, you can only play to lose to the least loss you could get sometimes. Like sometimes there is no, I'm not saying in the grander scheme or in certain areas there aren't other things, but like when you go to fucking Podunk, USA, and they're just like, if you don't believe in Jesus, then you can't fucking live in this town. You can't expect to win that battle in one lifetime. You have to play.
I don't expect the racism war to be over in my lifetime.
So okay. So that's right. So like, I feel like the COVID battle is like a similar thing now, where it's like,
except everyone's going to die.
Well, because we tried to like do, and that's what's so fucked up. We
didn't try. That's what's fucked up, is that we didn't try.
Do you really think? Okay, now hang on. Who's we now? Because I feel like we're moving around.
Not you and me.
Right. That's what. So right. So I think I'm jumping around between like we meaning like what you directly can do, and we meaning what like the broader thing can do. Because like obviously individually, I think black people should have rights. Women should have rights. Obviously, but like as a larger subset of whatever population you're looking at, if you're looking at that or COVID or whatever the fuck else, like there are just certain like lines that you have to like push. What do you call it? overcorrecting and all of that. Like it's like Trump, right? Like Trump happened because we all felt so like, look, Obama's great. He only drone bombs every now and then. He's so good at
so many brown people.
He's only killed so many people with drones, and gosh darn it if he isn't charismatic, right?
Oh, that guy.
And he's just such not a white dude. Aren't things swell? And then it was just like boom, like the fucking infinite overcorrection.
The backlash against Obama.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that before.
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
Listen to Pimp a Butterfly if you get a chance.
You've told me about that album before, and I am a piece of shit and never did listen to it.
It's okay.
Yeah, that happens.
That's your reparations, Will.
That's my reparations.
Yeah, that's your reparations.
Man,
I give the best reparations.
I knew you were using training wheels on me, but I had no idea. You're like, all right, for the penance.
No, wait.
For the penance of all racism, you will listen to one rap.
It's okay. So I actually have to expand it. I was thinking of the wrong album. The album is Damn.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Different.
I'm reasonably sure now, but listen to both just to be sure.
This is Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar in both cases.
Hey, I remembered a thing. This is like when since we're talking about Jesus and rural area shit, this is like when you're like young and you're supposed to go to confession, which is so fucked up. You ever gone to a confession?
Never, ever. I was raised Episcopalian.
Okay. Oh, hey, I just Googled when I drove to Kentucky. When I drove to Kentucky the other week, there was a bunch of Episcopalian churches that we drove by. And I was like, I hear the phrase Episcopalian all the time, but I don't know what the fuck that is.
Diet Catholic.
Yeah!
It's like Catholicism without all the feelings bad about it.
I was reading it and I was like, is this my new favorite religion? It's literally like all of the things that are Catholicism, not minus all of the dumbness, because it's still a religion, therefore it's fucking dumb, but so much less dumb. They're like, we kind of think that priests should be able to have sex with people and get married because it seems like maybe if you told someone that it was bad to ever have any sexual thought for the entirety of their life and trapped them in a hell torture of their own mind, they might start raping children in record numbers. Like it seems like that could happen. Catholic Church, who would have thought?
In the greater St. Louis metropolitan area, the Episcopal Church just had a new bishop elected. Our old bishop sounded like Kermit the Frog and had some wild fucking Christmas sermons.
Amazing.
He went on one year about the M&M Corporation and like how it was like this massive conspiracy. And I was
M&M stands for men, and it has the homosexual agenda. Our children are eating chocolate, and there's estrogen. Oh yeah, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah. But no, it was the lap of the Lord, that phrase has stuck with me for what, like 10 years now.
What is the lap of the Lord? Is that like when you go? Is that like Roadhead with God? Like you take a. Is that like you take a long road trip with Jesus,
or giving,
and he'll be like, I need you to come to the lap of the Lord. Oh man, funny story. The first time I ever got Roadhead, it was such a surreal experience that I just laughed a bunch. Like I just like I was having a great time, but it was I was like 19 or some shit, and I remember I just like. It was just a normal day, and then I was like, wait, what's happening? And then I just laughed for like 15 minutes.
You didn't even appreciate it.
And I remember she was kind of like weirded out, and I was like, no, I just thought it was fun and also funny. And she's like, oh, I thought you thought I was doing a bad job because you didn't come. And like, if I could speak to myself at 19, I'll be like, you'll never come from oral. Just know just know that you will disappoint every woman you meet by never coming from oral sex.
Or is it impressing?
Ever.
Up until a certain point.
It's impressive until then they're just like, why isn't this working? Like, bitch, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's like, like whenever people meet Harper and I'm like, she's really cute, but if you touch her, she'll kill you. And people are like, oh, but she's so cute. I'm sure I could touch her. Like, it's the same. Yep. It's the same kind of thing where they're like, no, I'm sure I could. I'm like, no.
I'd say I got to use that line, but I'm getting hitched.
Anyway, enough about my penis. What were we talking about? Black rights. I think
my church, my parents' church. I don't go to it. I'm not religious.
Your parents are still Episcopalian.
My church. They go to church.
They're generic church thing.
If they were religious, they would be Episcopalian, but I'm not sure that I would describe them as strictly believers, theists. As it were.
They're
C&E Episcopalians, the worst kind.
Non-theistic, like cultural religion people, like the way like a lot of Jewish people are atheists. But
my dad abstractly believes in a god, I believe. My mom, I don't. It's either less abstract or not at all.
But they're non-dogmatic, and they go to church because community? Or why do they go to church? Is what I'm getting at.
My dad's parents raised him very strongly religiously, and the same for his sister, who is very religious and speaks at church.
Okay.
She was involved in the selection of the new bishop to replace Kermit, and now we've got a black gay married bishop.
Okay, first of all, that's fucking amazing. Second of all, cool? I was reading in my Googlings about Episcopalians. I'm so glad this came up because I'm so prepared. Like you would have been telling me all of these things, but now I know about them.
No, you know.
They were like, the other thing was like, I thought it was crazy about how like the rules work, where like they don't believe in like any authority. They directly reject like the authority of the Pope and shit. And they're like, our authority is just the whole community and whatever we decide. I'm like, God damn, Episcopalians are cool.
They unionized Catholicism.
They're so fucking cool, dude. Like I always thought like Buddhism was like the cool religion or some shit, but like
turns out it's Episcopalianism. I don't know. I mean,
if I ever have to convert in the end of days, I might be looking at
when the Christian death squads come for you. When they pull you down out of my attic and they make you
Is that the hell future we live in, where I hide in your attic?
Yeah, right? How fucked is that?
I'm sure that's exactly how that'll shake down. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, your parents were going to church or something, doing things.
That's the whole story.
That's it.
I was talking about the black gay bishop when we started talking about Roadhead.
Black gay bishops, Roadhead. Good for black gay bishops. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, no, he's cool. He's very nice.
Does he at least like talk like Sam the Eagle? Tell me you know Sam the Eagle.
I know Sam the Eagle. Don't be weird.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. You
don't know Sam the Eagle. You're fucking up. He doesn't. Okay.
No, he sounds like somebody, but I can't think of who. Yeah.
All right.
Probably someone on PBS. I don't know. He's nice.
Nice man.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's fucking cool. Episcopalianism, kids.
Episcopalianism.
Don't be religious, but if you have to be an Episcopalian.
But about COVID, we really should. You remember about a year ago, maybe like 5-10 episodes in, I said what we need to do is lock down.
I actually just re-listened to that episode a couple days ago. I've been doing laptop setup at work and kind of going through. Yeah, and you were like, no, listen. I'll tell you, the scariest thing was listening to me react to you say what is now the truth, where you were like, I think we're going to be dealing with this until at least September of like next year.
Yep.
And you were like, at like the very best. And there's just like this really long pause. And you can hear how little I had thought of that up to that point. And then you can hear me internally being like, is Alex retarded? Alex doesn't know. And then I just go, no, Alex, there's no... And I listened to that at work, dude, while I was setting up computers, and I was like, oh my fucking God, the prophet, the Lord, the word of the Lord, the lap of the Lord.
The Lord.
Professor Alex over here, dude. Anyway.
So if you want another prescient look, okay, so I can't make another grand sweeping prediction. We really screwed up. If we had done what I said and had a hard lockdown for a handful of months where we stayed at home and didn't go grocery shopping, which is a thing that they did in like France and Italy, we'd be fine. This whole Delta bullshit is because we couldn't do that. Because they decided that would be too much like government handouts or whatever.
Well, and then, dude, it's like so rapid now and fucking...
And it's just gonna get worse.
Dude, let me tell you, you want to know what fucking killed me?
What killed you, Will?
I think I tweeted about this. Did I talk about the fucking Spectrum technician at my work?
I don't think so.
I don't think I have. This dude comes into my work and fucking hooks up like a fiber connection because I'm getting a fiber upgrade from 1 gig to 2 gig symmetrical.
Congrats.
And he like, this is when my mom was recently in the hospital for some blood pressure medicine conflicts conflicting issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of scary, but everything's fine.
Good.
She was just on like 2 medicines that didn't drive correctly, and she like fainted, and it was weird, and they didn't know what was going on, and then that's all it was. So that's pretty cool. So I had to leave work the day this tech comes out. And so he called me, and I was like, hey, so-and-so will let you in. Please do whatever you need to do. I'm at the hospital. My mom's like maybe dying or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So this guy, even though I don't know him, he like knew that was going on because I was like trying to coordinate this thing while I was like in the hospital fucking with shit. So long story short, I finally get back to work, and I'm talking to him. He's got everything set up. And on the way out, he's like, so how's your mom, man? I'm like walking him into his car because our campus is like confusing. And he just starts... Like, I was like, oh, yeah, she's in the hospital, and it's crazy because she's got to stay overnight, and she shouldn't need to be in the ER, but she has to stay in the ER because there's so many beds taken up because of, like, Delta COVID variant shit, and it's, like, ramping back up. And he just launches into this shit about, like, within, like, 1 second, he was like, oh, yeah, the plandemic. And I was like, oh, my God, no, abort. But it was, like, a really long walk to his car, and I was like, fuck. And he was just going on about how like his uncle is a virologist and his friend is Navy SEAL Special Forces, and he's been banned by Facebook over 40 times for spreading the truth, and he'll never get vaccinated because he's got the best thing, which is that he had COVID, and it's no big deal. And,
did you scream when he said that?
And everything was awful. I mean, I tried so hard to leave. I just kept like walking away, and and I was like, dude, I don't want this guy to kill me. I don't want him to like, there's a good chance. So I have to have
going to skin you or give you COVID.
I have to have another tech out, and there's a good chance they'll probably send this same fucking guy. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking have him show up and be like all weird and like, oh my God. Anyway, that single interaction has done more to spiral me down into the vortex of infinite nihilism black hole than I even already was. Like that dude works for a large company with presumably numerous other dudes and friends who all like work in IT, and you would think being in IT, you would be smart enough to understand like basic fucking science and medicine and shit. And he is so fucking down another fucking rabbit hole of insanity that there is no. You know what? Let's connect this at the top of the podcast. That's the dude who you can only play to lose less against. You can't win when like fucking 60% of a populated area is that dude. And like that's the case in a lot of places in Missouri.
Well, in your specific area.
No, in the majority of our state, Alex. St. Louis is a fucking anomaly. The entirety of Missouri is this dude. The whole fucking state is this dude, other than St. Louis. That's what we're up against. We are so fucked. Everything is so irrelevant. I might as well just fucking take off all my clothes and start fucking filleting people in the streets. Like,
sounds more fun than dying of COVID.
We're fucked, man. And like, I just am so like, oh my God. Like, we're gonna be on fucking Zeta variant in fucking 6 months. And it'll be like everybody has a third nipple and a penis growing out of their forehead. But hey, at least we're still alive.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? I don't like it.
Don't threaten that guy with another dick because he'll be excited. If you want to make that guy really uncomfortable, tell him that for every new variant, he has to learn a new Greek letter. Does he want to know the difference between like chi and epsilon? Is that the person he wants to be? You tell him that.
I'm sure that'll...
You give him that to think about.
I'm sure that'll work really well. He did the other thing that like super weird, generic men do when they're talking to me, which is like, I feel like they're... So first of all, this guy, he's like not like super fat, but like mildly overweight, white dude with goatee and the sunglasses. You know the sunglasses.
Oh, I know
the ones that white dudes with goatees wear. And I'm just like, could you be any more... And sorry, excuse me, also bald shaved head. Like, could you be any more of a fucking, like, walking stereotype?
Yeah.
So he did the thing that, like, all these dudes always do when they talk to me. which is that they look at me, they talk to me, they interact with me, and the entire time they're like, is this guy a gay?
They're sizing you up.
Is he a gay? He doesn't really talk like a gay, but he kind of does, but also not. Maybe he's just a normal dude. I'm not sure.
Normal dude.
He probably is or isn't a gay. And they kind of like go back and forth, and then they'll eventually like say a thing that betrays this thought process that always cracks me up, where they'll like talk about their wife or some shit. And he said something where he was like,
wives,
where he was like, yeah, where he,
or girlfriends at least.
He said something about like his wife, and he was like, I don't know if you're married or if you have a girlfriend, but if you do, I'm sure you know. And then there's like an awkward silence, and I just like to let that hang and stare at them. There's another dude said some shit to me one time where he was like talking about how like he thought someone was like he was like, so it was some other disgruntled, like, I interact with a lot of these, like a lot of contractors that come to my work are like super rural, weird, disgruntled dudes. Like
I don't want to blame where you work and live, but
oh yeah, it's St. Charles. I mean, come on. What again, how fucking dare you patronize me, Alex? What is this theme, Alex?
That was a joke,
Alex,
I did
no,
just now.
I know.
Okay.
I'm doubling down. Anyway, so fucking yeah, I had some other guy say some shit about like all the gays or whatever. And I said like, dude, it's 2021. No one is straight. And he like, it was so, I had to try so hard not to laugh. He like stared at me like, he was like, what do you mean no one's straight? And then it was like, it hit him. He was like, wait, are you not straight? Wait, do you think I'm not straight? And like he like his
wait, he didn't
I might be talking to a non-straight now, and he's like, but I thought you were so cool. And that's like my favorite thing. And this is if I can really just settle into my white privilege for a moment.
Oh yeah.
The closest thing I have to the experience of anyone, as you and I have talked about, in terms of not being a white person, is like, you know, my atheism or whatever, right? Or whatever. And I remember like always thinking, or even sexuality is really the same way. I remember always thinking, like when I was younger, and I think this is true and a good thing, which is to be like, you need to like tell people you're an atheist, because as soon as people like see, they're like, oh, that's my friend Will. Is he a gay? Is he a atheist? They know me. And it's like, yeah, that's so good. And then like every time I do that, I'm like, man, if you're black, you just don't get to do that.
You mean like hide it from people?
Yeah, right. Because I remember
people know pretty fast.
I remember there was like a super racist dude at Moonbase one time. He was being really fucking weird, and he was super racist towards Nestec for like no reason. Like he didn't quite.
Nestec is so nice.
I know Nestec is so nice. And Nestec fucking killed him with kindness, dude. He fucking like killed him.
Wow, I wouldn't have done that.
Like this guy was like, oh, I can't believe you like bumped my chair. Like he didn't even bump his chair. He's just like fucking angry.
Hold on,
drunk.
I think I remember this night.
Yeah. And so Nestec was like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Blah 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 blah. And then he walked away, and I was talking to him later, and I was like, man, we gotta go like save the bartender from this crazy drunk racist guy. Like she's probably gonna get eaten alive. And this guy just looked at me. He was like, I can't do that. If I go back in there, it'll only get worse. And I was like, God damn. Like, is this
I didn't think of that.
Is this like is this white privilege? Like,
yes.
And then the choir in the fourth wall breaking was like, yes, yes, it is.
Specifically,
yeah, definitively.
Well, I guess if there's a teachable moment or something to be learned or gained from that encounter, you did benefit from white privilege, but you were able to extend that privilege and help someone who is in need of help.
I did use my white privilege in a good way that day. So, you know, basically I don't need to improve or change in any way for as long as I live. I'm perfect now. I am the picture of understanding. No, man, I got my victory. I'm done.
Got your end card.
I'm done, man. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be releasing a new hip hop album about the struggles of being a black man in America, and it'll be totally fine. Anyway, oh man, I've been derailing the shit out of you. Weren't you going to talk about a tournament at some point, sir? A super spreader event?
Only briefly.
All right.
I'm excited. I'm going to go to TNS Chicago, Tampa Never Sleep Chicago.
That's fun.
I leave next Friday. It's on that Saturday, the 14th. I think there's like 80 or 90 people. It's like 100-man cap or something like that.
It's for Marvel 3?
Exclusively for Marvel 3. There's no Infinite. There's no Street Fighter. There's no Smash. It's just a bunch of dudes there to enjoy Marvel. I'm so excited to be a part of that. I think there's a prize pool, but honestly, I don't care about that. I want to see
go and fucking
like Marvel. Yeah,
hell yeah, dude. I was gonna go with Alex, and then my work is dumb, and that's when school starts, so I can't really take off the exact time. But
abandoned me in my hour if need.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Yeah. No, it's all right.
Let's be honest. I would have just gone there, and there would have been like such and such Marvel player that would have been like, MetalMusicMan, you made the tweet that said, I do not personally like Marvel versus Capcom, and now we're going to murder you. Can we talk about SonicFox recently doing that and how like that shit?
Oh, poor SonicFox. Dude, they tweeted, yeah.
No, but
they tweeted, I don't really care for Guilty Gear anymore, and everyone was like, how?
That's how I always feel, though. Like, I'm always tweeting shit about, like, I do or don't like games. I'm not as what?
You're not as big as SonicFox.
I'm not as big? Well, obviously. I'm just saying, like, people's reaction is, people have, much smaller scale. They have such a hard-on to get, like, it's like rage porn for themselves, where, like, you can make a tweet and be like, I don't personally like, I don't know, Resident Evil. And then people will be like, I can't fucking believe you won't.
That's satire, though, right? You're just saying that as a hypothetical.
You know, right? That's literally true.
No, you don't know. You don't know better. We're gonna play Resident Evil 2. We may or may not stream it, and we're gonna have I'm derailing. I'm sorry.
That's what we do.
You were talking about Sonic.
That's what we do best. No, I was just saying, like, I really related to that. You know, like, I was just like, it is so frustrating with especially FGC people. Yeah. They're so they have such an inferiority complex about their games and the games that they play, to where when they see someone fucking say that their game is not a game that they like, they just shit their fucking pants and start fucking getting out their pitchforks. And it's just like, dude, people can have opinions, but they're so terrified of this, like, and I feel like the more niche the game is, well, okay, it's like a weird bell curve. If the game is really niche, then they don't care. And they're usually like cool and supportive. And if the game is really popular, no one cares. But there's this weird middle ground where the game is like not that popular, but not like the least most popular, least like most obscure thing. So it's like right around where you're like, yeah, you're like your Marvels, your Skullgirls, basically every game Alex likes. Yes. All of those people who like those games are so butthurt about people talking about them in any way that isn't like the most positive thing. And I think it's just like so fucking toxic. And if anything good can come out of what SonicFox said, it's that hopefully people can stop being dumb cunts about video games. Like, shut the fuck up, fighting game community. Shut the fuck up.
The Skullgirls scene is actually very understanding and good. They're probably of the traditional fighting games, they're probably the
you know
best.
Why that probably is? Because Skullgirls is a very self-aware game.
Yeah, the game itself is self-aware, and then like everyone who plays it, it's really a labor of love on the part of the developers as well as the players.
It's kind of like it's like Cuphead or something. It's like a game that knows it's trying to be. It's not trying to be a mass appeal game.
Right.
Yes, and I
think
think
never
that's
cared if you liked it.
I think that's where you get into.
That proves their point.
Yeah, and that's where you get into trouble with like your Guilty Gears or your Marvels or whatever the fuck. Like, these games are like, they're in the weird niche fringe spot, but then they're also kind of like trying to be mainstream. And I feel like people just get super butthurt about it. Whereas like if you look at like your Street Fighter Cross Tekken, everybody who likes Street Fighter Cross Tekken is like, this is a really good game. But then when people, but then when people say it sucks, they're like, yeah, gems.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
this is my baby.
So like, I think there's like an interesting, I don't know what to call it. I keep saying bell curve, but I don't know if that's quite right. But there's like an interesting phenomenon of like, there's like a certain degree of like popularity, mainstreamness versus nicheness versus whatever, that like, I feel like it makes it more likely that communities are going to be kind of weird about shit like that. And definitely Strive. You know the weirdest thing about Strive to me is, and let me just say, Strive is like probably the most fun I've ever had playing an anime fighting game, personally.
Until Melty Blood, which comes out next month, September 30th. I
still just don't like it. I just flat do not like the game. There are things in it that I do like, and it is a game that I can play and not hate every waking second of playing it. I can just mostly not have a great time, but have some fun, you know?
Have a good time.
I can have like a little bit of fun, but like too much would be annoying, but like, which is frankly saying a lot. And I think that's cool and good. But what's interesting to me about all of the Strive discourse, as I've seen it on Twitter, is that like every Guilty Gear player fucking hated the shit out of Strive. Everyone. Every Guilty Gear player in St. Louis, every Guilty Gear player who I just follow randomly, they were all just like, this game is shit. Like, they're playing the alpha, they're looking at, this is so dumb. Yeah. Why are they even fucking calling it? Basically, fuck all of you. You're all fucking dumb, and I'm better and smarter than you. And you're you don't count. But they're all stupid, and so this is why it's like so frustrating to me to see what happened with SonicFox, because those are the same fucking people who are bitching about what SonicFox said. Not even how many months has this game been out? Like 3? They hated the shit out of this game. Fuck all of you idiots. All they did was shit on this fucking game for a year. My entire Twitter feed is full of like how shitty this beta is, how shitty what they're doing is. They're ruining Guilty Gear. The game comes out fucking 2 months later. These fucking idiots are bitching about how SonicFox literally wrote, I think I don't like this game anymore. I cannot think of a better example of the fucking toxicity of specifically the St. Louis fighting game community and at large, the larger fighting game community.
I haven't seen a lot of backlash from the specifically St. Louis fighting game community against Strive,
man,
or against SonicFox. I mean, there are people like Mr. K he had his grievances, but he likes it.
To be fair, that's a good check, because I have not specifically seen them bitch about SonicFox. I have specifically seen every single fucking person bitch about Guilty Gear Strive before the game came out. Every single fucking one of them.
I stand by my bitching.
To be fair,
it could be fun.
To be fair, I might be strawmanning their opinion specifically on SonicFox.
Yes.
The Twitterverse at large's opinion on SonicFox is totally accurately valid. Yes. But it's just frustrating to see that. Like, I just don't understand how the fuck people can be so unaware of like their own biases with regard to shit like that. Especially someone. It's one thing when I say it. I'm just like some fucking nobody idiot who like fucking has been vaguely okay a few times in a way that doesn't matter in various games at best. SonicFox has won multiple tournaments in multiple games, multiple Evos, even
10 or more Evos,
and they're just trying to be like, hey guys, I think maybe this isn't the game for me, and you're gonna fucking act like. The fucking sheer ignorance and hubris of the fucking fighting community sometimes. And like, this is coming from a place of love. Like, this is the kind of criticism you can only give to like your brother who you hate and think is a fucking idiot, but also love eternally. Like, because you think he's beautiful. Be better, shitty fighting game players. You suck. You suck and you are immature and you should be better. SonicFox is 1,000 times better than you will ever be at anything. And whether you agree with their opinion on Strive or not doesn't really matter. Like, if you want to say you think SonicFox is very wrong, I think that's fine and interesting. You can disagree. I love disagreeing with people, but there's nothing wrong with that. The insanity of the backlash of that, though, it was literally trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. That's crazy people levels of obsession.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory that this is in no small part due to Stockholm Syndrome. Because you love Guilty Gear, and you've always loved Guilty Gear, and then, terrorists come in and they change what Guilty Gear is. And, like, you still love Guilty Gear, right? Don't you love Strive?
I would agree with you if we hadn't already gone through it, though. We already went through it, don't you think?
What? You think that the people are learning from their mistakes? You think that they've seen this before and that somehow protects them, shields them?
No.
Okay then.
No. Sorry, no, absolutely not. You know better. But I'm saying, okay. I feel like if it was Stockholm Syndrome, don't you think they would have? Well, fuck. Maybe you're right. Maybe the Stockholm Syndrome couldn't kick in until the game was out and it was in their hands.
They had to know. Because then it was real when it was in their hands. Whatever misconceptions or conceptions they had about the game, it's all finalized. It's printed. It's on the disc. This is their new reality. And so, what are they going to do? Accept that?
And now they like it, even though they hated it for a year.
I'm sure that there's going to be some weird schism, and maybe we'll see people playing Revelator again or Zerd or whatever instead of, or maybe they'll go all the way back to Accent Core where ABBA used to live. Maybe people will go back instead of playing Strive, or probably not because there's no pot bonuses in Accent Core.
Can you imagine if like fucking Justin Wong was like, I don't like Street Fighter 5, and then I was like, I can't believe you're doing the Street Fighter series like I don't understand how you can be so unaware of your own like thoughts to like look at the pattern.
Well, no one is sitting there writing, Dear Diary, today I saw a Strive trailer and I was very angry. And then later comparing and contrasting. Strive came out, it's what I thought it was going to be, but now I like it. No one has that.
I think that's the real
awareness.
issue, though. I feel like when you look at like a normal human being who isn't stupid, like you or me, and unlike most of the rest of people.
Damn, I made it into the upper echelon.
But like when you, I feel like okay, if you look at like when let's use Street Fighter 5 as we always like to do because it's a terrible game. But like when that game was coming out, I didn't ever at any point look at it and think it was going to be terrible because I think like the base. I still, to this day, think the base systems and the base idea of that game are actually good. And a lot of people, in my opinion, erroneously attribute its design intent as the issue. And I think its design intent is actually fantastic. Well, in terms of the systems, not like what they later turned it into with like, removing EXTPs. That's season 2.
But that's after.
Yeah,
That's after. Yeah.
But like the base idea of it, like trying to make things easier, more approachable in the ways that they did, like, I really just think they failed on execution. And so that's like when that game was coming out, I was always just like, yeah, it's a new Street Fighter game. I know it's going to be different. I'm really excited. And like, I think the part that like whenever people meme on me specifically regarding Street Fighter 5 that they always forget is like that I actually really did like the game for however long.
You were a fan of it for months.
For however long season 1 was out. It was at least 4 months, 5 months. I don't remember. I mean, I was like,
you came to tournaments. You were out there
it was a good game.
Yourself.
I mean, season 2 is when it became shit. So like, I don't understand how people can look at a thing and have such a like negative opinion on it based on a trailer and then completely change that opinion when they play it.
When the game drops, when nothing changes.
Right. Because thank you so much, Alex. Because if Zerd had come out and it was like, Strive had come out and it was like, oh, everything's totally different from the alpha and from all the trailers.
They listened to me, but they care.
It didn't. They just decided they liked. It would be like if I had done everything I did about Street Fighter Season 2 of Street Fighter 5, and then in like Season 5 or whatever the fuck we're on now, I was just like, nothing has changed, but suddenly I love this game. Like, I just don't.
That's Stockholm Syndrome.
I don't understand how you. I don't understand how you get there, man. Like, I just feel like, oh God, like you've got to be right. The more I talk about this out loud, you have to be right. That has to be it. I love.
That's the only thing that makes sense. They convinced themselves that that's what they wanted.
It has to be, because it'd be like if, and in fact, if I could be less narcissistic for 5 seconds, which is impossible for me, it's the same as you with Marvel Infinite, where you were like, Marvel Infinite is not like the worst game I've ever played. It's not terrible, but I don't like it. It isn't what I want it to be. And here we are. It's not like someone tweeted about Marvel Infinite not being good and you were like, hey, fuck you. How dare you shit on the Marvel IP? We don't need people like you, Alex.
In the FGC, I
love, dude. I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but like, I just never quite feel like I'm at home in the FGC with regards to like the weird toxicity that is rooted in it in some ways. And like, this is just another instance of where I'm like, man, how is this even still a thing? In the year of our Lord 2021, are we still mad that people don't subjectively enjoy a game? If you like a game or dislike a game, that's fine. If you're in someone's mentions shitting on a game, you're a piece of shit and you deserve to get shit. But like, if someone's just vaguely like, hey, I played fucking Guilty Gear today. Boy, that game sucks. I fucking hate it. Like, okay, all right. There's a difference between, and I feel like these same people, the people who are bitching about SonicFox, they're like the same people who show up like in random threads or forums where people are talking about things they don't like, and then they're like, oh, fuck you, you fucking suck. Like, it's like they feel like, and I think it's to your point, it's like they feel like if they don't speak that out, that it's like it will become the reality, and they're so scared. They're so scared of the reality that they know exists that they have to say it for themselves to hear it out loud. That this is a good game. This game is like, I don't get it.
Yeah, if I can make a hypothesis about why that is, I would think that there's so much like expression between games and you can recognize this because when you play a Street Fighter, like a real Street Fighter game, you enjoy it. When you play a real anime game, not Grand Blue Versus, but just say for example Strive, you don't like it. There's so much difference in the taste there that I think a lot of an individual fighting game player's expression in the community and sense of identity and belonging in the community is tied to the game. Like, I am a Marvel player. That is who I am. And I don't think that everyone is quite as good as you at making that clear distinction and removing their ego from it. Because if I don't like Street Fighter, if I tell you Smash fucking sucks, Wolf is boring, like you're not going to lose any sleep over that because you don't have that same sense of pride, maybe.
Well, I have it, but I'm not gonna. I think, yeah, you're absolutely right though, because like that's the difference is when you say it and other people, and there are smashers who are guilty of this too. Absolutely. Like, I'm not saying like no smashers do this. In my personal anecdotal experience, it was always quote unquote East Coast smashers back in the day. It was always like it was always the East Coast. Like, West Coast was cool, Midwest was fun and bad, and the East Coast were assholes. And I feel like with the FGC, it's just like or maybe I'm just biased. No, typically West Coast was the best, but you had some people on the East Coast who were the best, like Mewtwo King and Azen, and so there were East Coast players, and they would have like a run for the money. But like overall, I think it was typically West Coast. But anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I like games, and I think people are dumb when they say dumb things about the games that I like. But like, if some stupid fucking FGC person says like, "Oh, Smash is a dumb party game, and you're dumb if you like it," I don't give a fuck. And this is evidenced by the fact that happens every 5 fucking seconds on Twitter, and it also happens every single time I ever tell people that I'm a Smasher when they don't know that I'm a Smasher. Yeah. My favorite one. Oh man, I'm not gonna name names because I actually really like this person, and I think they're gonna come across in a bad light, but they didn't mean poorly by it. So, but I'm not gonna name a name. But there's a person in the fighting game community who I was talking to one time, and I was just like, "Hey man, like something words," and they're like words, and then we were like, I think it was like in a year. It was one of the good years that Melee was at Evo, and I was like, "Fuck man, Melee was like so good," and they're just like, fucking stupid baby party game. People are playing this dumb baby party game. What are you talking about? That shit's fucking, it's fucking for 8-year-olds. Nothing in that game is hard. And I was like, I'm going to stop you right there. I was like, I'm going to stop you right there. And I'm going to tell you, for every game that I play, and every game that we've played together, which is mostly, Street Fighter 4, because that was my main FGC game, but also like, Street Fighter 2 or like other, it was like we'd played Cross Tekken and like a little bit of Marvel and some other things. And I was just like, all right, you would say I'm very good at Street Fighter 4, right? You would say I'm like a good technical player. Like, I do cool Oni combos, right? And I was like, literally every single thing in Melee is at least 5 times harder than anything I have ever done in Street Fighter 4. Like, the only exception would be like very specific... Viper. Yeah, Viper, or like Guile, Flash Kick, FADC Ultra 2 while holding charge, and like there's like a few little things, but I was like, imagine you're doing that, but that's just you moving. It's not even the combo. I was like, and he was like, no man, combos. He's like, I can do 1 frame links. I'm like, Yeah, but all of your one-frame
cool.
links, are just button links. They're doing one-frame links with multiple one-frame movement options into one-frame empty links. And like, I just remember watching like their brain break. like they could not physically reconcile that someone who they knew what they were talking about with regard to fighting games had that opinion of Smash and of Melee, of course. And so like, that's just it.
You do have to specify.
If that's not like the perfect example of the how did you call it, the ego or the fear of identity that is rooted toxically shittily in the fighting community, I don't know what is. And to be fair, this person did like actually
presented with evidence.
And I think from me, I think 100% if it was from someone else, they would not have had that thought.
You have a good brain, and they trusted that, and they can't trust baby brains.
I guess, man, but that's what I mean. And like, there's some of that in Smash. Like on the flip side, like there's like, I have read, it's way less common, but I've read some like dumb Smash tweets that are like, fighting game players just like do special moves. And they don't move. They're so much worse and dumber from Smash. Like the way Smash, the way dumb Smash players try to be like, all they do is
quarter Hadouken,
circles,
tell time.
Like,
buddy.
What do you like? I can't even like make one up because they're so dumb. But like, so like they do exist, but it is a lot less common, and it's also typically from, as you were saying, like actual babies. Whereas, like, in the fighting game community, it's like a 28-year-old dude. And you're like, aren't you too old to be this dumb and naive?
And they tell you, aren't you a little old to be playing Smash? Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I love you, fighting game community, but I also hate you. You're so awesome.
You, fighting game community.
You're so awesome, but you're so dumb. No, don't you feel like you kind of hate everything that you love, or is that just me? I feel like anything I love, there's like an amount of hatred. I feel like you have to like understand all of the negatives and kind of hate something in order to actually love it. Like
you must. You like people because you love people all though.
Yeah. Hey, look at you, Professor Alex. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, I think we're about an hour and we're trying to be fast. So I don't know if I cut you off into anything you were trying to get into. You're going to a super spreader event. COVID's going to kill us all. You're going to a super spreader event and COVID will kill us all.
Yeah. I'm bringing it home. Bringing it home, boys. If I can't bring the gold from TNS Chicago,
where can people watch you? At TNS Chicago.
At Tampa Never Sleeps, twitch.tv/Tampa Never Sleeps, assuming that I...
And the date is what again?
That is on the 14th of August. Not this upcoming Saturday, but the Saturday after.
Guys, watch Professor Lex fuck people up in Marvel. Yeah. I don't want to oversell him, but he's pretty good at that game.
Thank you.
He's pretty good at that.
I like to think so too.
He's pretty good at that video game, you guys. You should watch. It'll be fun.
A lot of my ego and identity is tied to that game.
All right, I have been MetalMusicMan.
I've been Professor Lex.
And we will catch you guys next time.